Ooh, we got the explosive Real Housewives of Beverly Hills finale, and we got some insight into Kyle and Mauricio's separation. And on top of that, we have the new exclusive clip that dropped this week from Buying Beverly Hills, where Mauricio talks about the split on his show. So we'll compare the two and we'll get into all of it. Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered combos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered, and yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. All right. Happy Thursday, guys. I hope you let me know if you got the Beverly Hills finale. Let me know if you enjoyed the Beverly Hills finale. I thought it was good. It was kind of fun. I saw people sending me like screen grabs because they saw me in the background of the party, and I was at the white party. Yes, I was there with my friend Andy. Josh was there as well. So yeah, it's a good time. But we had we had the sit down with Kyle and Mauricio and Kyle and Erica. And we see all the women's reaction in the Beverly Hills finale, which was interesting. I'm just going to say it right out the gate. I was a little disappointed in what we got in this finale. I think the part that was um the part that was like the most raw was, I think, when Portia starts crying, right? So we have the full SoFi party. SoFi party was great. It's this big extravagant party that Kyle is really up to the ante on. And like I said, I remember when I got invited, I kind of talked about this last night on YouTube when Josh and I were recapping Vanderpump Rules. But which, by the way, guys, follow Josh from Louisiana on YouTube. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel, Josh from Louisiana, for his recaps. But we see the SoFi party, and I remember when I got invited to the SoFi party, I did not realize that it was the white party, and that's why when you see photos and stuff, you'll see that I'm wearing black and white because I did not realize I was going to Kyle Richards' iconic white party until I got there, and I was like, "Oh, this is the white party. Like we're doing this." So yeah, but it was a great time. The party was great. It was very extravagant. I remember Mauricio being at the party for like most of it, and Kyle didn't come out to the very end. It's interesting the way that it was edited because Kyle came out much later. Kyle was the last one to come out. And Mauricio was kind of like at the party mingling the entire time, which is why it was so strange when Sutton's like, where's Mauricio? Where's Mauricio? I'm like, he was there and Kyle wasn't for most of the white party. So I did find that interesting that she was kind of playing up that card where she was kind of just like, oh, where we've been waiting for Mauricio since the celebration of life of Lorene, which I get. Mauricio has been very absent, but I will say at this party, he was physically there. I know that I had just interviewed him for his book. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the name of the book? He launched his book last year, and I had just had him on the podcast. So then I said, hello to him because that was the first time I'd met him in person since we had taped the interview via Zoom. I had to chat with him. I chatted with everyone. I had a very lovely conversation with Garcelle. I had a lovely conversation with Sutton. I had a great conversation with Dorit. So I was, listen, they were all very, very nice to me. Even Crystal was very sweet to me. Garcelle was very sweet to me. Sutton was very sweet. I think the only ones I approached were Sutton and Dorit. And it was mainly because Sutton was kind of just like standing in the middle of the party, like by herself. I think she was like talking to Garcelle and Denise for a minute, and then they like left. And she was kind of just like standing there. And I was kind of like standing 5 feet away from her. And I just turned and I was like, how are you? She was just like awkwardly standing there. She's like, I'm good. She's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Usually, like they direct us and tell us what we're supposed to be doing. And I was like, oh, well, how's the store? And she's like, it's good. And we're just launching men's clothes. And I was like, great. I can't wait to come in and check it out and whatever. And I think I have been to her store since then. And I've actually wanted to buy stuff from the store because there are actually some cute things. There's like this Let the Mouse Go shirt that I thought was really cute and I thought would be fun to get. So yeah, we had a very pleasant conversation. Garcelle was great. There's like a video of us. So after the party had ended, if you look at the final scene where all of the women are sitting down, they do have like a conversation. When you see at the end and they take a selfie, they were having like some sort of conversation. And I just remember at one point, me and Andy, who I brought, you guys he was at the Bourbon Room show. He was on the first panel that I had with all my friends. And you'll occasionally see him pop up on my Instagram and stuff. And I just remember being like, okay, let's get shots. And so we got a shot and we're like, where are we going to sit? And all the tables were full and there was only one table that was open. And we're like, all right, we'll go and we'll sit there. And then it happened to be right behind the housewives. So now people are sending me like photos. I guess there's like a photo where you can see us sitting right behind, I think Satin and Crystal, which is funny because I'm like, we look like we're just like enjoying the party and we're actually just right there throwing back shots. But it was a good time. It was a great party. Kyle did an incredible job, or Kevin Lee, she, darling. He did a great job with that party. I didn't even, and to be honest, I didn't even notice that it said Kyle on the floor. To my recollection, I don't remember it saying Kyle. I just remember the party being like very nice. And there was like so much like nice food and like it was very Beverly Hills. And the budget was what, 500,000? Oof. I cannot wait to the days when I can host a $400,000 party. I do remember Denise and Camille walking in. I thought Camille was going to make more of an impact just based off of the presence she walked in with that night. But we didn't see her giving any lines, nor did we see Denise have any lines other than like the little shady comment she was like saying under her breath. And she's like, oh, cool, the camera's over there. And she's like talking shit about Erica. I'm like, why are you coming to the party to be a hater? Whatever. I can't shit on her pink jacket or Camille's blue dress because again, I was in black and white. So I can't shit talk it too much. I do though remember when I realized I was on my way there and I was texting Andy and I was like, wait, I think this is like the white part. It's a white party. So I think the attire is all white. And he's like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you wearing all white? And I was like, I'm wearing black and white. I was like, my pants are black, but my shirt has like black and white in it. I was like, so I'm kind of wearing white. He's like, do you want me to bring you some white? And I was like, I don't know. That's kind of awkward. Like, I feel a little awkward. And then he's like, well, then I'll wear black pants with you in solidarity. And so he also wore a white shirt with black pants, which again, if you're going to wear a color to a white party, it should probably be a little more like a blush pink or a blush blue. Like Camille and Denise, not a bright, not a stark black pant. And there were black leather pants on top of that. But it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. We had all the fun, all the goodies. We got lit, had lived life. But yeah, the party was great. Kyle, she did seem a little like not fully present there. Like she walked, like you could just tell she was like the vibe was a little off with Kyle that night. She enjoyed herself. She was having a good time by the end of it because they filmed like the regular show and then I probably should have saved this off for like members only. Maybe I'll get into more of it on members only, but it was a great party. Yeah, I'll get into more details on tonight's members only. And then I'll tell you all about Jeff Lewis and doing Jeff Lewis live yesterday because that was a lot of fun. And the feedback and response has been so great from Jeff Lewis live. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Just a reminder, we do have Disaster Daters. 2 new episodes just dropped this week. So there are now 4 of the 6 episodes that you can binge right now. It's Disaster Daters with me and Jeff Epstein. It is quite the riot, quite the wild ride. I'll say that. I'm Zack Peter.
I'm Jeff Epstein. We're going to touch on everything: sex, dating, love, relationships, situationships.
Oh, God. Are you seriously on Grindr right now? Did you find any fun homeless people?
Let me just tell you, first of all, I lost my virginity to a lesbian named Celia.
What? I lost my virginity to like a 50-year-old man on an Amtrak train.
Table that one for later.
I'm a disaster dater.
I'm a disaster.
Don't miss Disaster Daters. It's streaming now. You can watch it exclusively on Spotify with me and Jeff, or you can listen to it on your favorite podcast app. It's not on YouTube. Everyone keeps asking me, is it on YouTube? It is not on YouTube, but you can watch it exclusively on your Spotify app or listen to it on all podcast platforms. Leave us a good review if you're enjoying the show. Let us know what you're enjoying about it, and tune in. Disaster Daters with me and Jeff. Disaster Daters. Go check it out. And let me know what you guys thought of Jeff Lewis Live if you tuned into that on Wednesday. I have another podcast. I'm taping Taylor King's podcast today. That's why it took me a little longer to get ready this morning. I have to go tape. It's called the Making Moves podcast, Making Moves with Taylor King, TK's Juicy Polls. So I'm taping that today, which would be a lot of fun. And TK's on Disaster Daters this week. So you can listen to our episode with TK there. And stay tuned because that'll be coming up soon. Oh. All right, let's talk. What else about the finale? I mean, aside from the SoFi party, which was great, I didn't love how the women reacted to the news on camera. It felt a little performative, and I saw a lot of tweets online about people who were talking about how, these ladies are not Kyle's real friends, and I agree with that. I was a little disappointed in Garcelle and Sutton's reactions because it was more of like they were upset that this got released in People magazine or People online rather than to them directly. And I'm like, I get it, but also at the same time, why why not just be there for your friends? Why not call Kyle and be like, is everything okay? Like, why not let that be your first priority rather than Kyle was lying to us? When it's just like, yes, maybe she was lying to you, but at the same time, I mean, yes, I understand that the producers did a lot of prodding and they wanted them to look shocked and to have a reaction. But at the same time, you don't see Erica performing on camera having a reaction. You saw Erica in a sit down scene with Kyle. And yes, obviously that is producer prodding. They want Erica to have they want Eric or Kyle to sit down with someone, and Erica seemed like the most natural. Even Dorit, I was a little disappointed in because I was like, that's your girl. And at that point, they didn't seem to be having issues that it just, you can tell that the friendships are not as real or as deep. But seeing Erica and Kyle have that heart to heart moment and, seeing the roles kind of reverse because we see flashbacks of like Erica crying to Kyle years ago when all the Tom stuff was happening and Erica or Kyle being like, it's okay. This is what friends are for you to unload and kind of, lay it all on us, and we're supposed to be here for you and hold space for you. And I like that we had that scene. And Erica, I thought, was very empathetic towards Kyle and was like, listen, this is true love, and nobody else knows this marriage but you and Mauricio. And don't let anybody else's opinion sway or deter from that, you know? But when it comes to the other ladies, Dorit included, I was disappointed in Dorit. I was disappointed. I mean, Crystal, I'm not surprised by, and even seen Rob beat a little shady. Like Crystal, I don't think ever has really liked Kyle. So to me, I wasn't surprised that Dorit was a little bit shady. But for Sutton, I feel like her and Kyle had moments of connection. I feel like Garcelle doesn't really like Kyle at the end of the day either. So I'm not really surprised by that. But I just feel like the other women, like Garcelle especially, has also been in moments where she's like, I need you ladies to have my back. I need you ladies to be on my side. I need you ladies to not attack my family or whatever. And I'm just like, well, when do you ever show that same compassion to any of the other women? Because you were grilling Erica before, you're grilling Kyle this season. So, I feel like there were some double standards in that, where it's like, well, not only that, but even in the fans where they're like, we don't like the Fox Force 5 and they just want to take people down and it's bully mentality and they're mean girls, mean girls. Well, it's like Sutton and Garcelle seem to be relishing in the demise of Kyle's marriage. And people are like, well, that's fair because Kyle does that every season. So fair is fair. And it's like, are we talking about an eye for an eye or are we talking about basic empathy and not being mean girls? Like, you have to pick a side because your double standards are starting to show and you look like a fucking clown. Okay. Pick a side in terms of general values, right? Not pick a side in terms of teams. This isn't, pro wrestling. This isn't a football team where you pick your player and you're like, that's who I'm going with. I'm going to ride with them until the end, right? Because at the end of the day, we do have to remember these are real people and these are their real lives. And we do see their lives play out on television. But, if you're coming at it from a value perspective, then you shouldn't want anybody on the cast to be a mean girl, and you shouldn't want anyone on the cast to, exploit flaws in somebody else's life, whether that's Erica or Kyle. And we've seen Erica and Kyle now go through it for the past this season, and then Erica the past 2 seasons. So it's like, but then when we saw, Kyle kind of looking at Sutton when she was, and listen, I wish Kyle would have had a little more empathy with Sutton earlier in the season, where Sutton was opening up about her divorce and opening up about her ex moving to another country and how challenging that was for me. I did kind of see Kyle's point of like Sutton sometimes does get lost in these first world problems situation. Um, but at the same time, like, that's still a real experience for Sutton, and I think Kyle could have been a better friend and been more empathetic, but we do see that continue to grow throughout the rest of the season, right? We see Kyle really hold space for her in Spain when she has Merce, and she takes Merce out the purse, and she throws Merce into the ocean. Merce is in the purse. So, I think, Kyle was able to show up for Sutton a little bit more as the season went on. Whew. Dorit and PK. The more and more we see their relationship play out on camera, the more I'm like, I think Erica may have been subtly picking up on something when it comes to Watch What Happens Live a couple years ago when she said Dorit and PK were going to be the next couple to split. Because whew, today it drained me. Brian Scott Patterson says, that's a fair review. Erica caught shit for years. I think Dorit is in for it. Come to think of it, what is Dorit's tagline even about, considering she also has relationship issues? I feel like that was another one we didn't really get into much, was Dorit's relationship issues. And we kind of see that in her confessional in this finale where she's talking about it. And she's like, she seems to like not have a whole lot of faith that her marriage is going to last in that confessional where she's wearing that like cha-cha outfit, where she's like, she's got the little braids in her hair, and it's a very colorful outfit. Listen, that fashion, you know, but I don't know. I think that her and PK may be in for a wild ride, because this finale did not give me much faith in their relationship. We'll see where it goes. Doesn't seem like Dorit really has any true allies on the cast anymore either. So I can see Dorit not coming back next season. Who are her friends? Kyle? It doesn't seem like she and Kyle are in a great place. Eric and Kyle have always, I think, been able to find a good place to sit and stay. Especially now, I think they're really good at being there for each other when shit hits the fan and they need a real friend. But I did really appreciate the scene with Kyle and Erica, and Erica really showed up and was a good friend. And I remember talking to Erica when she was on this podcast back in October. And I remember talking to her about that. I was like, Dorit and Kyle seem to be going through it right now. Like, are you going to give them the same energy that they've given you? And she's like, no, because that's not right. She's like, my job is to be their friend. And so I'm going to show up and I'm going to be their friend, even though they weren't as nice to me. And I could have used a little more, love and support from them going through what I was going through. She's like, I'm just not the type of person that's going to show up and do that to my friends, which I appreciated. Crystal and Rob. I mean, listen, Rob was a little shady, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like appreciated this side of, we don't see much of Rob, so it was nice to kind of see this personality in Rob, even though he was being shady, and kind of his conjecture was that Morgan Wade was the one that leaked this to the press. I don't know who leaked it or how it got out. It had to have been someone close to them, if not even their daughters really knew that they were separated, right? Because the daughters were like, we knew that there were problems in the marriage, but we didn't realize they were separated. But then we see the scene with the family. I was a little, the emotion was there for sure, but I was disappointed in the information that was given, because there wasn't really any new information that Kyle and Mauricio revealed. I feel like we got more in the Kyle and Erica sit down, where yeah, Kyle talks about how there were needs that Mauricio just wasn't able to meet, a la Alison Dubois, season 1, with her e-cigarette, saying or Mauricio will never emotionally fulfill her. And the older they get, she'll realize they have nothing in common. Here we are. But I think we learned more in that conversation than we did in the sit down with the daughters. The part that was really hard about the sit down with the daughters was where you see Portia just kind of break down, and you see all the girls and they're sitting down and they have to have this awkward conversation. and Kyle talking about how they were out to dinner and the news broke and all their phones start buzzing. And then Kyle put out a statement and, really, Kyle was really just like, we're going to be a family regardless. We are separated. Yes, we don't know if we're going to continue living together or not, but at least for right now, we're going to stay living together for as long as this works. Great. You know? And then the interesting thing too is Netflix, which I think was, listen, from a network perspective, not that I have any loyalty to Netflix or Bravo or Netflix versus Bravo, but Netflix was smart, right? They're like, listen, we're not going to if NBC is not going to let Kyle film for Buying Beverly Hills because of her contract with Bravo, fine, we're going to scoop the story. We're going to get Mauricio to sit down and talk about it with his daughters because his family is also part of our show. And we're going to have our own conversation about that. And not only that, we're going to release a clip to promote the show ahead of the Beverly Hills finale, which I think was a smart move on their end. And you know what? In that little short clip that we got from Netflix, we learned more in that clip than we did from this Beverly Hills finale. I was a little, again, disappointed. I thought we were going to get a little bit more out of the Beverly Hills finale. Um, the emotion was there, and it was heartbreaking to really see them go through it, right? The girls, Portia breaking down and crying. It's unfortunate, because they are a real family and these are real issues. Divorce is tough. But so but now the clip from well, actually, okay, before we get into the Netflix clip, this finale ends with Kyle's confessional. And Kyle basically reveals to a producer in the confessional that Mauricio basically did something that broke her trust, and it doesn't seem like it can be repaired at this point, which led people to believe maybe Mauricio has cheated. Now, it's never been confirmed that Mauricio's cheated on Kyle, but what do you guys think? Like, what is such a violation of trust in a marriage that you can't come back from? I mean, could it be that maybe the leak came from him? Not him directly, but maybe he told somebody that he wasn't supposed to tell and that got let out. There's something there that Kyle is referring to. And I mean, infidelity maybe with it, but then she's also been like very clear, like when she talks to the daughters, she's like, there's no, or even when she talks to Erica, she's like, there's no one thing that went wrong in our marriage. There's no other person involved. There's no other family involved. There's nothing, none of that. Like, it was just a lot of little things that kept adding up that didn't seem to be getting better. But then in her final confessional, she revealed, so it sounds like maybe she was protecting him, and now we finally see that she's like, Brian says, not letting your wife scissor kick a lesbian country singer. I mean, that could be very in violation of trust for sure. Getting someone else pregnant can be. No, I don't think he's gotten somebody else pregnant. I I mean, unless, because there have been rumors that Kyle and Mauricio may have some sort of arrangement. So if they have an arrangement and Mauricio stepped out of that arrangement and maybe broke some of those rules, then Kyle's like, I trusted you. Well, I mean, it could also be that we see him dating and it's very public, and maybe to her that feels like a violation, but at the same time, so then we get to the Netflix clip, right? And in the Netflix clip we see Mauricio sitting down with Farrah and Alexia, and Sophia, I believe, is there as well. The three that are on the show with him, Buying Beverly Hills. And he's talking to them and he's like, your mom wanted a separation and she came to me and told me that she needed some space. And she basically told me that we're separated and that I can date whoever I want and do whatever I want. And she can date whoever she wants and do whatever she wants, but we don't talk about it. I don't tell her what I'm doing. She doesn't tell me what she's doing. And we basically are allowed to just do our own thing because we're separated at this point. And I was like, "Oh, he's like really just like putting it on the table." I was like, "Oh, so he's basically saying they're dating other people." You think? Oh, no, I don't think there's any truth to the hookup rumors with Dorit at all. I mean, unless that's kind of why Kyle's like, Dorit and I aren't that close. I don't know. No, I don't think he hooked up with Dorit. I think those rumors were dumb. I don't think so. Maybe hit on them, maybe flirted with them, maybe made a move. I don't know. Oh, and then we see the reunion trailer, and Dorit's like, "Kyle texted me, and she basically wanted to silence me." So, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. This is all conjecture, right? This is unconfirmed speculation. I'm not reporting anything. Listen, this is an up and atom. I'm not going to give you some low budget tea. I'll give you some speculation and we can pull together some theories. But, I want to make sure I give it to you straight. And so, conjecture wise, if you put those pieces together, Dorit's comment in the reunion trailer, Mauricio's comments about how they're allowed to see other people, but Kyle's the one that wanted the separation. What I didn't like, and then we see the finale where Kyle's basically like he did something that violated our trust. But sorry guys, I have to throw a little shade sometimes. I'm a shady bitch. I was having this guy Josh and I went to dinner last night after we taped the Pump Rules recap. We went out to dinner. There's this southern restaurant here in downtown called Joyce that we went to. Um he actually had texted me the other day. I guess he went to the store and he saw this like beer koozie and it said, "I have a good heart, but this mouth." And he's like, "This is so you." And I was like, "I know I have a good heart, but my mouth gets me into trouble." And then I was telling him about my experience taping Jeff Lewis live and how we had coffee before the show. And I was telling him, I was like, Jeff and I end up actually, like, we're very Jeff Lewis and I was like, we actually learned that like we have a lot more things in common. Like we're a lot more similar than I think we realized. Um, so yeah. But I was telling Josh this, and Josh was like, "Really? You're surprised that you and Jeff Lewis are a lot more in common than you expected?" He's like, "Do you not?" He's like, "Your mouth sometimes just gets you into so much trouble," and I'm just like, it's me. That's who I am. I can't help my mouth. It gets me into trouble, but it's who I am. You know, it's who I is. I was, that song, "Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me two margaritas, I'ma give you some head." See, I was thinking about it and I was like, "Give me one margarita, I'ma open my mouth. Give me two margaritas, gonna embarrass myself. Give me three margaritas, I'ma get up in your face." Um, you know, I don't have a small esophagus, no. I take you for who you is, boo. Thank you. See, you guys see me for who I am, and you love. Shut the fuck up. You guys love mess. Don't even try to be like, we love you for you. You come for the mess. You come for the shit show. That's why you're here. You're here for the shit show, and I love you for it. And I appreciate that you accept me for my messy. But anyway, I mean, putting all those pieces together, I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think that there was anything that happened between Dorit and Mauricio. I just don't. I don't. You know? I just don't. Um, but the Buying Beverly Hills clip with Mauricio talking to his daughters, what I did not love about that conversation is he very much makes it seem like Kyle's the one that wanted the separation. Kyle's the one. Yes, I always take accountability for my actions, even when I'm wrong, even when I'm messy. I will always own it, baby, own it. Josh seemed Liddy City in his IG story last night. Oh, did he post? I didn't even see his IG story. Um, I don't think he was Liddy City. He was not Liddy City. Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me two margaritas, I'ma get Oh my goodness. Oh god, he does look Liddy City. I don't think he was Liddy City though. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled programming. What I did not love about Mauricio in the Buying Beverly Hills clip is that um it seemed like he was putting a lot of the blame on Kyle for the separation. And yes, I understand Kyle is the one that asked for the separation. However, when your wife comes to you, when your wife of what, 2 decades, over 2 decades, comes to you and says, "Hey, babe, I feel like I need some space." That's when you, as a husband, come in, or just as a partner, you come in and you're just like, "Okay, how did I contribute to this? How did we get in this situation?" Because in every marriage, it takes two to tango, you know? It takes two to tango. So how is it that Kyle is the only one that's responsible for this separation? I feel like there was no accountability from Mauricio about like, listen, I didn't realize that there were problems in our marriage. I think that there were things that I was not keen to, that I was not privy to, that I wish I would have been more mindful of, that I don't know how I didn't see the signs. And I'm working on trying to be there for your mother more. There's no Mauricio trying to work on their marriage. There's Mauricio being like, "All right, Kyle needs space. Cool. Go get your space, Kyle. Tell me when you're ready and we're off the ice." "Oh, we're allowed today? Okay, fine. While you're taking your space to figure your stuff out, I'm going to go work on the agency and do my fun because we're single and we're separated and we're allowed to date and whatever." And I'm just like, he just doesn't seem present in this relationship. And I think when you're in a separation, that's when circumstances are dire. That's when you go all in or you go all out, but that's really where you have that wake up call. And she was telling Erica that it just seems like he always was like, there's no issues, there's no issues, there's no issues, everything's fine, which I get, but like everything's not fine, clearly. And when your wife comes and tells you that everything's not fine, then at some point, when do you have that like check in and be like, okay, let me see how I'm contributing to this situation and let me see what I can do to make it better, you know? Which also makes me think maybe he didn't cheat. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it was that he could have possibly done that broke the trust so much that led them to this place. Cause it's not like she just said he wasn't there for me. She said he broke trust. He did something. I don't know what he did. I mean, maybe he stole some money from some orphans and widows, and now she's like, "I can't forgive you." You know? Maybe she's gonna have to give up her earrings soon. I don't know. JK, JK. But mm-mm. Today trained me. Sometimes you don't see problems in a marriage until kids grow up. This is from Trish. Sometimes you don't see problems in a marriage until kids grow up and you're stuck looking at each other and wondering if you want to be with this person for the last years of your life. That's a really good point. And I think that that's a really valid point, You really have to there comes a point where you really have to evaluate things and figure out like what do I want for the rest of my life? And in some cases, you know, you want some coochie, and I think Kyle may be at the place where she's like, "Give me some coochie," because then you see the Watch What Happens Live last night, and Kyle brought Morgan to Watch What Happens Live, which to me is like, I don't know. I have feelings about that. We'll get into that, but before we dive into that, just want to remind everybody, since we have so many fur babies that we love, your pet's one of a kind, and so is their journey. So while every playful moment is a memory in the making, sometimes our cats and dogs are a little too good at getting in trouble. I know, and I have the couch to prove it. I have the destroyed couch to prove it. But that's why you should check out ASPCA Pet Health Insurance. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans, making it easier for pet parents like you to help your pet get the care they may need. They allow you to customize your plan, helping to ensure that your pet's plan is as unique as they are. Because vet bills can really add up. All right, let me tell you, especially when you're least expecting it. So it's simple. Use their app to submit a claim and you'll receive a reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/nofilter. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/nofilter. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/nofilter. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company, produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. Now, we know we want to care for our pets, but you also want to take care of yourself too, right? So if you're ready to cut out the mess of DIY meal prepping, or you want to start eating healthier without any of the guesswork, then Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day easy. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You'll have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. Flexible for your schedule, get as much or as little as you need by choosing 6 to 8 meals per week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Like Dorinda Medley, just put it on pause. No meal, no prep, and no mess meals. Factor meals are 100% ready to heat and eat. There's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup required. Head to factormeals.com. That's factor, Factor, factormeals.com slash no filter 50. That's no filter 50. And use code no filter 50 to get 50% off. That's code no filter 50 at factormeals.com slash no filter 50 to rack in that 50% off. And I have to tell you guys, I actually have been sleeping very well lately. And that's because Ball and Branch makes the softest, most luxurious sheets without any toxins or harsh chemicals. I've got some and they are so delicious. You're going to love them. Your partner's going to love them. Your pet's going to love them. Whoever is up in your bed, they're going to love them. They use the rarest 100% organic cotton that's traceable from family farm to your family home. Ball and Branch sheets have a natural, unmatched softness and get softer with every wash. You can feel the difference with their 30-night worry-free guarantee. Listen, you'll sleep better at night with the softest sheets from Ball and Branch. That's Ball with a Boll, Ball and Branch. Get 20% off your first order when you use promo code ZACK. That's ZACK, ZACK at ballandbranch.com. That's Ball, Boll, and Branch.com. And be sure to use promo code ZACK, ZACK, not with an H, with a K. Okay. Promo code ZACK for 20% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. Okay, let's talk about Watch What Happens Live. Watch What Happens Live. Because Watch What Happens Live, Kyle brought Morgan. And if you see the photos, okay, Kyle brought Morgan. Very, very spicy photos of the two of them together. Basically, cozying up after Watch What Happens Live. I haven't watched it yet. I've only seen the photos of it, and it is pretty salacious. Okay. You look at the photo, it's like Kyle and Morgan, and they're on the step and repeat. But if you look closely, you can actually see Kyle or Morgan has her hand wrapped around Kyle's waist, and she's kind of like rubbing on her, like her little muffin top to the side. I mean, she doesn't have muffin top anymore, but like where we have muffin tops, that's where Morgan's rubbing. And she's like rubbing her hand, like, like kind of like rubbing that little area. I'm like, ooh, that is very intimate for like, we're just friends. We don't scissor, you know? I don't know. To me, this looks very coupley. I know I have friends. I know I have friends that can be a little touchy-feely and a little affectionate, and sometimes it starts some rumors. It's not to say that there is no truth to the rumors, but that's what I'm saying though. Is like sometimes, like, sometimes there's a little truth to the rumors, you know? So I don't know. There's something about this from like where there's smoke, there's fire. I go back and forth, but like this to me feels like now we feel more comfortable. Now that it's out there, now that it's being talked about, I kind of feel like now they're opening the door and possibly gonna, come forth and give this a shot. We do see in the reunion trailer that Andy Cohen does ask Kyle about Morgan and whether or not she can actually see herself dating Morgan. Now, the editing is always a little shady and tricky, and you can never really buy the editing of a reunion or of any trailer, right? Because it's always going to make it look a lot more sensationalized that we can actually tune in and then you see, oh, like remember on Jersey, there was that one time where you see Melissa or you see Teresa calling Joe Gorga and she's like, Melissa was flirting with another man. And then when we actually watch it play out on the show, it was a prank. But in the trailer, they made it look like, Melissa was cheating. So hyperbole, exaggeration, they play with us. And so, today trained me. Dun, 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 dun. Joe says, but the question is, does Zack want those rumors to be true? He'll answer those questions during members only live. Do I want the rumors of Morgan Wade and Kyle Richards to be true, Joe? Is that what you're asking me? Why? I actually would like them to be true, Joe. I would. I would like them to be true because I think they would actually be a great couple, but I think that there are some hurdles that they kind of will need to work through. I think Kyle is still in the process of grieving Lorene and grieving the loss of her marriage, and also seeing her daughters all grow up, and she's becoming a bit of an empty nester, even though some of them still live at home, but like they're becoming independent and they don't need her as much as they did, and I think that's going to weigh on her. So yeah, it's giving Just Like That. I haven't seen Just Like That, but I'm sure you got something. All right. What other thoughts? Did you guys see the reunion trailer? It is pretty juicy, baby. Um, there was also the Miami trailer. I mean, I'm not as into Miami. Keep trying to get into Miami, and I want to get into Miami, but I'm also kind of just like, it just ain't really given. But let's watch the trailer right now. Okay, so we see Dorit, and she's telling Eric, or Andy Cohen tells Kyle, he's like, "Oh, Erica wants me to eviscerate you at the reunion," and then Dorit's like, "I was talking to Kyle last night. She's trying to silence me." Sutton thinks Anne Marie has the most to answer for with all her list of apologies. We don't see much of Anne Marie in the trailer, to be honest. We see Kyle holding a crystal, and Sutton laughs at her. And then Dorit's like, "What about me is fake?" And Andy's like, "You don't really want me to answer that." Sutton says that Kyle's been mean to her the entire season. And Kyle's like, "What do you mean I've been mean to you the entire season? I haven't been mean to you this entire season." And she's like, as Denise Richards would say, "Watch the show." I was like, well, Denise Richards is a liar and a flop. And we saw that this season. So I don't know if Denise is who you really want to be quoting. Sutton, come on, girl. Sutton does look good in this reunion, though. Her hair, I'm really loving Sutton's hair, like long and flowy like this. I think she looks great. Dorit, I know people are like, Dorit, this is such a fashion moment. And people are like, she looks like Little Red Riding Hood. And I'm like, she looks like a bag of flaming hot Doritos. Garcelle looks good. On camera, it looks a little, coloring wise, it looks a little better than it did in the photos because it looked like the hair was blending a little too much into Garcelle's dress. But on camera, things always look better than usual. We see a little bit of beef between Anne Marie and Crystal. Boring. We see Kyle and Dorit go at it. Andy grilling Kyle about Morgan and her marriage. And then we see Kathy Hilton come out. And then that's when we see Sutton and she, because I had obviously heard, of Sutton fainting at the reunion. So now we actually see the moment of Kathy coming out. It'll be interesting. I'm curious what people, I've heard exactly what happens. I'm curious what people are going to react to when they see how it gets edited. I don't know how it's going to be edited. I just know how it played out in real time. So yeah, Kyle's cryptic BS and lies must go. She is a little cryptic, and I feel like I just want her to be a little more honest, Does anyone else think Marisol might be seriously ill? Like an alcoholic ill, or like ill in the head? Mo cheated, so there must be a love child. Oh, you think that Mo has a love child? I don't know about that. A love child in Spain? Is that why he's going to Spain so much lately? Mm. Dun, dun, dun. Denise will always be Charlie Sheen's ex-wife. No, I don't think Denise will always be Charlie Sheen's ex-wife. I think Denise Richards will always be Denise fucking Richards. She's an icon in and of herself. She'll always be a Bond girl. She'll always be. But listen, now at this point, she's really kind of tanking her reputation, with her OnlyFans and her flop on Beverly Hills. And she was even a flop in the finale. Sorry, Denise. I loved you your first season, but like, today trained me. But at least she looks like Charlie's Boys. I haven't heard any other content creators say the love child part, but who knows? Yeah, and listen, I'm not spreading those rumors. I don't believe that there's a love child. We don't have any evidence or proof or anything about that. That's all more speculation and conjecture. Dun, dun, dun. Denise. Well, I think that's all I have for you guys today. Be sure to listen to Disaster Daters. It is available now. You can binge the first 4 episodes. We have 2 more episodes that'll be dropping next week, and that'll be a wrap on our limited series, Disaster Daters, with me and Jeff Epstein, my co-host, who is hilarious and wild and unhinged. He hosts a podcast called Manic, and it's basically, that's the best way to describe Disaster Daters, is it's manic meets no filter. You put them together, and it's chaos. So we get into our disaster dating stories. We give some of our tips and tricks. We have guests come on and share their dating stories. And it's just a good time. It's always a good time. What time is members only tonight? Probably at 5:30 Pacific, which is when we normally do members only. Sometimes it's a little earlier. Sometimes it's a little... Oh, wait. Actually, it's going to be early because I forgot I do have dinner plans. Why do you not put Disaster Daters on YouTube? Because, Deborah, I have a partnership with Spotify. And I'm trying to pimp out Spotify because I'm very grateful to Spotify for our studio that we filmed Disaster Daters at. So, thanks to my, collab with Spotify, I'm leaving the video up on Spotify exclusively. Maybe in the future we'll decide to upload them on YouTube, but at least for right now, it is exclusively available to watch on Spotify. Okay. But you can listen to it anywhere else. Zack the Pimp loves it. I don't know what you heard about me, but I'm a motherfucking PIMP. I don't know what you heard about me, but I'm a motherfucking PIMP. I know that's right. Big bad booty. So, Deborah, please go and download the Spotify app. Listen to Disaster Daters. Give us a 5-star review. Please, please, please. I mean, listen, we're killing it this week. I think this morning, No Filter was number 35 on the top 100. And then Disaster Daters was, I think, in the top 50. I know we debuted at 54 in the charts. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Oh, wow. We're number 3 in TV reviews right now. No Filter. Okay. That is very, very good. Oof. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. On the TV reviews chart, I'm number 3, right under Ryan Bailey and NPR. Wow. I think I'm actually higher than Ryan Bailey now as of this morning. I was one ahead of him on the TV charts. But okay. Listen, I got to see Ryan Bailey at Jeff Lewis yesterday, which I'll talk about in tonight's members only. Love Ryan Bailey. Good to see him. Hopefully I'll get to do more of Jeff Lewis. But please keep telling Jeff that you liked me on the show and you want me back, because I would gladly come back anytime. I had a blast. But yeah, Disaster Daters, go check it out. Leave us reviews. Like, it's free. It takes less than a minute to leave a review on a podcast. Do it for your favorite creators. And, it really does help us. It helps us grow. It helps us stay in the charts. It helps us, gain new listeners, because new people, when they come to our show, they can read your reviews. And if they're really thoughtful reviews, then it's a good time for everyone. So definitely go show us some love. LOLOLOLOVELOLO. I'm talking about love. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Don't miss the tea. You can always hit that bell button down below so you can get us up in your notifications when there's tea to be spilled fresh. Let's get it. Zach, please never date Jeff. He's cray-cray. Jeff Lewis or Jeff Epstein? I don't think I would date. I don't think I'm going to date either of them. But yeah, there are a couple, no doubt. Kyle loves to hide things from the press. See, but here's the thing, Anita. Some people are like, Kyle loves to always put things in the press. She loves to make press. And the other people are like, she never wants to put things in the press. She wants to hide her life. The guy's make it mean. Dolly says, never date Jeff Lewis because he's cray-cray. He seems like a really lovely guy. And I had a great conversation with him and his crew, and his team was really sweet to me. And even Doug, who I was on the show with, Doug was so sweet and kept checking on me. Again, we'll get into it on members only tonight. But thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you. Listen to Disaster Daters. Disaster Daters is out now. Watch it exclusively on Spotify, Deborah. And you can listen to it on all podcast platforms. Leave us a 5-star review. Listen to No Filter with Zack Peter Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with bonus episodes on Fridays if you're a member on YouTube or you're a member on Apple Plus. So you can definitely tune in. I'm going to plan for 5 p.m. for members only tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm trying to bump it a little early because I do have dinner plans after this that I forgot. Dinner meeting. But all right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful night. Follow me at Just Plain Zack. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. And I will talk to you guys tonight for members only. And if you're not a member, then I'll talk to you next week. All right. Ciao for now. Bye.